proudest day and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Crunching Gears. Let's talk rallying, episode 20. I'm absolutely delighted this week to be joined by Conor Edwards and our special guest host, we should say, Luke Barry, from Dirtfish, amongst many other things. So welcome along, lads.
Thanks, Kevin. Delighted to be here, and delighted we have Luke as well.
Nobody should be calling me special, Kevin. That's your first mistake. And I feel far too Scottish for this podcast. I don't feel I've got the Irish accent nailed down, and I won't impersonate it yet. Maybe later on if I'm brave enough. But no, pleasure, absolute pleasure to be here.
No, well, it's our pleasure to have you here, no doubt about that. So, where do we start? This weekend was very special. So we have sort of been paying tribute to it. This is obviously going to be a two-part, the next part of the week next week. But we're looking at this week is the main field really and the legends. So caught up with Josh Moffett Andy Hayes, Meirion Evans, Gareth Mac Hale, and we also spoke to the legends. But without further ado, we have to talk about the rally. It was phenomenal. Look, your first impressions of Donegal. You landed here last Thursday, and it all just seemed to roll from there.
It did. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago, Kevin. I feel sad now thinking about it. I do love Scotland, but I think I wrote this in a piece actually on Dirtfish that I normally love coming home, but I just really did not want my ferry to arrive back. I wanted the captain to turn it around and go back to Ireland. It was such a great weekend, and I've never experienced anything like it. I'll be honest, I really haven't. The only taste I'd ever had of Irish rallying was the Ulster in 2018. It was part of the British Championship, and I mean that was a great event, but this was just another level. I've never seen a town welcome a rally as much as I did at the weekend. It was special. Everything you boys have been telling me, it was all that and more.
and Conor, you just made the journey up yourselves there on Thursday as well. It's been a few years since you've been at Donegal as well. Good to be back again.
Oh, listen, absolutely fab to be back, and it's far too many years since I've been up to Donegal. I've always been an excuse or a reason, gets in the way of coming up. But no, listen, I was excited going, and my God, I was excited being there. It was just fantastic. The buzz, just Letterkenny was just rocking. It really was. It was fantastic.
The rally started off, weather wasn't maybe overly kind on Friday morning, but then the sun came out on Friday afternoon, and we were reasonably blessed with the weather. Maybe it wasn't scorching hot, but it remained mostly dry then from then on in. And the pace on the stages was hot, I suppose.
Oh, listen, the pace is phenomenal. And the weather, weather wasn't great to start off with, but then it throws in that little bit of trickiness it adds. Friday were particularly tricky in technical stages, and the bit of damp conditions obviously added to that. That certainly made tire choice interesting for the competitors.
Yeah, and look, right from the get-go, we know how well documented it is. Sam and Josh went out on the wrong tires in the first loop, but I'm sure you were on the first stage too. Like right from the get-go, them guys was on it.
Yeah, there was no letting off, and everything I've been told before the rally is naturally look at Donegal's length. I think it's 300 kilometers plus, and that would lead you to think it's a marathon, but my God, that's flat out from the first K, the first 10th of a K. It was nuts. And I think Callum's time on the first stage, I don't think even he really knows how he managed it. If memory will serve me, and again, I'll get corrected if this is wrong, but I think he was 7.5 up on anyone. And that was over Matt Edwards, who had a little bit of a gap over the rest. But to do that on the first stage, in those conditions, it was wet but drying. Good tires, good car or not, that was some effort, and it set up what was going to be a thrilling fight from there on in.
Absolutely. And you have to tip your hat to Matt Edwards. To come to Donegal first time. I think I read in your piece was it a 12-kilometer or 12-mile test? Before
12 miles. Yeah, that's all we got.
Yeah. That's insane to be able to jump in and do that in the first stage of the rally. Shows that the talent the guy has.
I think it was a good indication of how good he is, I guess, because I think he's obviously won 3 British championships in a row, and that's a record, but it's kind of been a little bit hard to quantify it because the competition has been strong, but it's not been that deep, and he's up against similar guys, and we sort of know that he's got the measure of them when he's on his good day. So for him to come over to a rally never done before, and all the first, it was the first time in the car, first time with Dave Moynihan, the co-driver, first Donegal, first R5 rally this year. So nothing suggested he should have been that quick, and yet he was. And it just shows you that with the right preparation, with the right sort of desire and drive to get the job done, he was right there. And I don't think even he expects himself to be that close, and that says something, because no driver at that level wouldn't back themselves to do well. But
True.
and it was impressive.
Yeah, and as the day progressed, it become quite clear that the main tussle was going to be between them other two. But and it's ridiculous to be dismissing the likes of Alistair Fish and Meirion, Sam, Declan Boylan. Like, they're only like 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds a stage off the pace. It's crazy.
It is, but the little bit of a score to settle there between Callum and Edwards from the Ulster Rally, so I think that also added into the mix and why the two were on such a pace from the get-go as well.
And look, they referred there to the Ulster Rally in 2021. Like, Edwards and Price come over and blitzed their guys, and they had all their reasons, various wee mechanical things and one thing and another. I think not only did Callum go on with his score to settle, I think the rest of the guys showed that Ulster was a one-off freak event. It was good to get back to showing the paces that they're naturally.
Yeah, do you know what? It's interesting. I hadn't thought about it from that perspective until Conor said that, but it's a good point. Because Matt and Austin, yes, they had a championship. Well, they did have a championship to fight for on the day in Ulster, so that potentially meant they were pushing just a little bit harder. But it wasn't the Irish guys, for the guys to go over to their own patch and get drubbed. It wasn't ideal. So yeah, I think it was important for them to prove a point, as you said, to try and show who's boss. But as you said before, I think it is incredible that we're talking about Matt and Callum being essentially a cut above, when a cut above is like literally 1-2 seconds over like a 7 mile long stage. I honestly don't think there's many rallies in the world where the pace can be that sharp from the get-go. And anybody that can, like any other rally, you look at Fisher, who obviously we'll get to his problems later on, but at the start of the rally, he's constantly running in and around the podium places. And that's considered like not quite good enough. The pace he was at, it's incredible. Like, it's, as you can see, I'm getting passionate about it again now. It's just everything about the weekend there just blew me away, to be honest.
Absolutely. And then, going into Saturday, we went into the classic stages. I watched you watching the cars going up Knockalla. Like, because I've been there for so many years, it's not that I take it for granted, but I love watching it through the eyes of somebody watching it for the first time. It is the theatre of dreams almost in rallying terms.
Yeah, I was like a bit of a puppy dog, sort of staring like I'm having a treat dangling in front of my eyes. But the one preparation thing I didn't do was pack the sun cream, which was a bit of a mistake. So I was a little bit rosy on Sunday after that. But no, it was, what an incredible place to watch a rally car. Like, everything about it was, and it is one of those famous locations that everybody hears about. And weirdly, I always think that the really sort of cliche spots are best avoided because it means they're so crowded, but this is the absolute exception to that rule. It was incredible. I know the Moffats came into view, and both of them, I don't think they could resist a little bit of a slide to the corner, which just set the tone of what was going to be a quite entertaining sort of day's rallying. But that stage obviously had its own twist as well. Talking about the Calla itself, I think it was, you can correct me here, Kev, it was the third stage of the loop, wasn't it, in the morning? Mm-hmm. And it's where Callum kind of got a bit of a break, didn't he? Because Matt had his half spin, and he wasn't quite, I can't remember what he said caused it. There was, I think, a little bit of unfamiliarity with the car, and it cost him, I think, 15 sort of to 20 seconds. But normally you think, okay, job done. But then, of course, secondly comes along, and Callum has a small issue, and Matt starts taking time back again. So the battle was on, even when it looked like it wasn't. Yeah.
Again, we go down to like a half spin. A half spin a couple of years ago was like nothing, and now it can almost decide a rally. But no, as you say, like the one stage, I know, yeah, we know Fanad had its issues. It was cancelled the first time round, had to be shortened and one thing and another. Like, and that's an epic stage. Cairn Hill, it's one of those stages. It's constant driving. There's no let up. And Fanad then, or sorry, Knockalla then is, you're watching them right from the start up through the hill, and then once it was over the top, the commitment needed there. I mean, like, that's pull in your belts and here we go. It's a crazy loop of stages.
There's a lot of hard work in those stages. Sorry, look, there's a lot of hard work in those stages, and you're right. Like, once you get up that top of that hill and Knockalla and you start going down, there's nowhere you can back off or take it easy. You've got to be on it, and it's caught many's have won out in the past before who know that stage very well.
Look,
that's what I was just about to say. Sorry, Kevin. It's just everybody talks about the first few hairpins, and rightfully so, because that's kind of where the picture postcard is taken and everything like that. But as Conor just said, you go down the other side of the hill. Honestly, one of the regrets I have actually over the weekend is I contemplated doing it, but I didn't go and drive the stage afterwards myself. I didn't quite have time to do it, but I really wish I had, because I think even in a road car, that would be terrifying. Yeah. You come down there at speed when the gravity's against you, and all you can see is the sea. It's some effort to block that out, but it's just, what a stage, I guess that's the way to put it. It more than lived up to the hype, but just the name of it and everything, it was just, it was magical.
Absolutely. And then Sunday, where do we start? Friday and Saturday, it's not fair to say they were almost bit calm. There wasn't an awful lot of positional changes. Sunday morning, first chicane in the rally, the whole thing is blown apart. And then into the next stage, another, you were just a roller coaster. Look, what was your thoughts on Sunday morning?
Well, I was sat watching the first stage, and because we're all kind of a bit geeky, to be honest, they're rally fans, you can always tell who's coming by the sound of the engine. And I heard, I could hear the sound of Apollo, and I sort of assumed all was normal. But then that was very quickly getting drowned out by the sound of the Citroen. And I thought, that's strange. I wonder what's going on here. Then into view comes Mac Edwards. I'm like, whoa, okay, what's going on? Obviously, with the speed of the likes of On the Pace Note now, you see all the clips like immediately. So you load the phone up, and there it is. It's a clip of Callum hitting a chicane and bursting the radiator. But firstly, what a shame for Callum, because it was a brilliant drive up until then. It really was. And I know it is, I guess, his home rally in the championship, but you've still got to turn up and drive it. And I don't think he'd ever been at Donegal in such a competitive position before. I know he's been there in an R5, but that was the year when Sam and Craig had the Fiesta World Cars and stuff. So this was his chance. There was pressure, and he more than delivered. I don't think even he at this point knows what quite caused the issue. We obviously saw that he essentially missed his braking. Was it just braking too late? Was there a slight change of surface? We don't really know. I don't want to speculate too much, but it was a massive shame. And then obviously what happened to Matt was, I think, more serious than people first realised. The first I heard was that the stage was cancelled and people thought it was Matt. And then when a stage is cancelled, you kind of know it's going to be a bit of a biggie. But I think the best thing to say, and he said this to me actually, is a massive testament to the safety we have now in rallying to make that as, I guess, as little an issue as it could have been in the circumstances. Ali and Gory Alsfisher and Gordon Noble onto the scene first and quick to help them out. Josh going to the next radio point, all the ambulances coming in straight after. It was a brilliant job with all the systems in place we have now to make that, as I say, Matt and Davey, they were injured, but they could have been a lot worse. So I think that's the main takeaway.
Yeah, that's something that we should pay tribute to, is that whole, the drivers, and right from the briefings and all, they know exactly what to do. They have the tracker on board, all the systems in place, and Sunday proved that them things work as well too. But that's, we should stress that as well too, shouldn't we, Conor?
No, absolutely, and delighted to see that Dave and Matt came out of it. Apart from a few cracked ribs or broken ribs and a couple of other semi-minor injuries that could have been a lot worse. But I mean, even the rally trackers and all the rest have really proven themselves, I think, in this. And it was great to see the response, very speedy response of the rescue unit in there as well to help. So delighted now that it was a positive result out of a bad accident.
Absolutely. And then, we thought then, this has to be all the drama over and done with then. And to the Glen stage, Fisher gets a puncture, and like the whole thing then, flips in its head again. Josh was ahead, but there was nothing in it. and you have to feel gutted for Ali. He's been, he's a, he is the Fisher name. We all know what it means to Donegal for the whole family. And then, Josh comes through. This machine that he is, the year he's having, unbelievable. And takes another one. It was Hollywood-esque, the way that the twist in terms of what's your thoughts on that, Conor?
Yeah, no, it was just kind of, unfortunate for Ali. He's just had a bad run of the last couple of rallies. And again, the flip side of that, Josh has just had an almighty year where steady Eddie, straight through it, no dramas, and he's coming out with another victory. And again, I know we haven't got on to Meirion yet, but Sam was ahead of Meirion just by 2.5 seconds in a world car, and Meirion, wasn't far off. You kind of wonder if the 2 stages hadn't been cancelled on the Sunday, how much of a difference that might have made,
Yeah. Absolutely. And look, what's your thoughts on them last couple of stages in as well?
Well, I was trying to synthesize the entire thing into a bit of a report, Kevin. So this was like the last thing I needed, really. more twist to add in. But it was, as I say, it was a massive shame, really, because I think we would have been in for quite a good finish. I think Josh had been quicker than Ali for most of the day. I think the time on the first stage of the morning was massive, and it kind of got overlooked because that was the stage where Callum went out. So that was where the drama was. But Josh had got into then what he thought was third, but then became second. Then obviously that became first on the next stage, and he did the job ultimately. And he's almost giving me like Andrew Nesbitt vibes now of just turning up to rallies and just winning them, and you kind of just know he's going to do it. I'm pretty sure now it's 10 rallies this year across the Tarmac Series and National Series, and he's won 8 of them and was second on the other 2. It's just. You could not make that up. But Fisher, I think I spoke to him very briefly at the end of the last stage, and he reckons he knew the last 2 stages quite well. He reckoned if he hadn't had his problem, he might have been able to give it a good go. But it's all ifs and buts, isn't it? But it was a crying shame. But I don't want to take anything away from Josh, because it was, I think, it was the perfect performance, really, and the perfect proof that giving up in rallying just isn't an option. It would have been so easy after the first day, and perhaps on another international with less mileage, it would have been impossible. But in Donegal, with all the drama that you can't expect to win there, you have to be at the finish. And it's an old cliche, but it's true. And that's what he did. And it was an incredibly emotional moment for him, actually, which surprised me. I don't know Josh as well as you two do, but I did bump into Kevin, and I asked you, I said, is that normal for him to be this emotional? And no, it was incredible to see how much it still means for a driver that's probably on course for a championship title this year, potentially probably 2, to win the rally almost meant as much as anything else he'll achieve this year, it speaks volumes of Donegal and its heritage.
Absolutely. So, what better time than to hear from the 2 guys themselves? We'll hear now from Josh and Andy. Donegal Rally winners 2022. It sounds very good, Josh.
It certainly does now, and I suppose we've been doing the rally now for many years, so yeah, it's finally nice to get our name on the trophy there for sure.
And Andy, for yourself too, this is a dream come true. You've talked about going up to the rally in 2006 to finally see your name on that trophy. It must be something very special.
It is, yeah, it's brilliant, As I said, I remember going up in 06, and 06 I wasn't even rallying. There wasn't even a chance of ever going rallying, and the closest I ever got was to see one go past. So I was delighted to get going rally in the first place in 2008, and then to win the first rally, and then to actually go and win Donegal, then it was extra special. So one really nice thing actually was my first ever Donegal was 16. It was cut short, obviously, with Tommy Maguire's crash. So it was really nice to get Tommy's prize on Sunday night as well.
And we'll go back to even before the rally started. Pre-event, is there a lot of work goes into it? I'm guessing from a co-driver's side of things, there's probably more there, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a nice bit, but I suppose with everything going on here, work and that type of thing, you probably don't get as much of a chance to do as much as you'd really like to. You get a look at some of the stages in previous years and that kind of thing, but that's probably about the height of what I'm able to do. I think it's probably one of Josh's strengths, actually, in particular, that he can go to any of these rallies, be it national or internationals, without a massive amount of prep, and just be quick straight out of the box. I think that's it's a massive skill to have, and I think it really shows, even actually on the national rounds in particular, where you're going to new rallies every time, that he can just be straight out of the box quick.
Absolutely. And Josh, do you want to take that up there? Like Andy was mentioning there, like how quick you can go out of the box. Is there a plan in place before you start that first stage, or what way does that work?
The plan is fairly simple. It's just go flat out. I know, as Andy said, preparation before the events, it's something like I think we both, if both of us had more time, we probably should do a lot more prep. But unfortunately, just myself and Andy, we don't have much. We make the time to get to the rally is probably the height of it. So the prep beforehand's fairly limited, and I guess as Andy says, like, we're probably used to going to new events and new stages and just making our set of pace notes and going with them from there. But obviously, even with Donegal there, the stages are maybe ran differently, or some of them are the same every year or backwards. And I suppose it starts to sink in after a number of years, and there would be a lot of stuff out there that seems somewhat familiar,
Yeah, absolutely. And we know, it's well documented. You were on the back foot on Friday morning with, like tire choice or whatever. Does that change the plan, or does it change your mindset? Is it, do you start thinking, do we drive to the finish here and pick up points for the championship, or is it still flat out?
Yeah, well, I suppose for us, like, for us, it was we haven't had any drop rounds this year, so in some way or form, like, we could nearly afford a drop round compared to some of the other guys there. So yeah, I think we were more or less just flat out the whole weekend trying to catch up on the times. And after Friday there, Alistair wasn't too far away, so there was a big push on then through Saturday and into Sunday morning to try and get ahead of him. So look at it, and I suppose the pressure was slightly off us, where every evening we went home after the rally or whatever, and we weren't leading the rally, and we didn't have that evening of pressure on us. We were further back, so it was nearly easier from that side of things for us. But yeah, look at it, meant we could just really enjoy the rally and go flat out from start to finish.
And like, Andy, from your point of view, do you have to talk Josh through and say we need to settle down, or we need to push on here? Or is that just a natural thing between the two? It's a non-spoken word, really?
It's hard to get through to him sometimes, There's only really one speed there, so that's God. You try, like, I suppose what I was saying to him on Friday was, if you look back and being at Manus, he had trouble on the Saturday, and I think he's over 2 minutes down after 10 stages. And you kind of look at that and say he managed to come back and claw back the rally win. So anything can happen in Donegal. And actually, I got a few people who were kind of texting throughout the day as well and saying, look, don't worry about it. There's, you don't know what could happen Saturday or Sunday. I suppose myself, quietly, in my own mind, by Saturday evening, I was starting to think, I don't know, I think this is slipping away. The more mileage went through, and we were still a bit behind. It was even though we were on the pace, we had lost that time on Friday morning. It felt like maybe it was slipping away, and it was really only when we saw Callum off on Sunday morning that it felt like that the thing was sparking back to life, and there's some chance of a result at that point. Then, although at that point it still looked like third was about the best we were going to get, maybe second.
And Josh, talk us through the emotion at the end of the Garden stage. Seeing Josh off and taking such a chunk of time out of Matt Edwards. Does that then? Do you almost smell victory coming, or is there a scent there that you were going to keep the real, is there another level you can push on to?
Yeah, I suppose I try to keep rather realistic about these things, and even at that, I know we took a nice chunk off Alistair there on that stage, and he still wasn't that far behind us, and he's a quick driver for sure, as everybody is there at the top. So we knew we had to keep our head and keep pushing, because there was still a number of stages left there. So obviously we took a nice chunk off Matt on that stage as well. So Okay, look, most of the time, generally, we just try to do our own thing and go as fast as we can. So, you know, the result comes at the end of the rally, so we don't counter cards too early.
Yeah, and you know, and then you know the rally that kept giving, you know, it was quite. I don't know, it was flat's maybe not the right word through Friday, Saturday. Sunday was just a roller coaster of emotion. Going into the Glen stage, Fisher gets a puncture. What's your first indication of that? Do you see something on the road? Do you smell rubber, or is it when you catch him on the stage?
Yeah, I suppose I could say Andy probably couldn't say whole pile. He was too busy calling the notes, but I could start seeing some black lines on the road, and it just looked like later heavy braking. And then we were coming along just after the bend that Sam had the moment a few years ago with the picture of him up on the car at the side. We go along there, and it's like a slow corner, and there's big straight after. It's about 500 meters long, and I could see spectators pointing down the road. And as I came around that corner, I could see Alistair in the distance. So I knew that he had some form of issue at that stage. So it was only like less than a kilometer later we caught him at that point. So it took some pressure off us at that point. It made it sort of our rally to lose at that stage. So it was very much a different type of pressure for us. So that was nearly more pressure having that big lead at that point than the whole weekend.
And Andy, from your point of view, you know, at the end of the Glen stage, you know, does the dynamic change in the car?
Yeah, I suppose as exactly Josh said, when I saw Ali the first time, I just looked up and I saw him. You could see the smoke at the front wheel. He knew exactly what was after happening, and he was punctured. And we were catching him pretty quick, obviously, with him and his puncture. But I was just thinking to myself, don't crash this fucking yoke now, whatever you do with this one, like, you know. And that probably went from there then to the finish line of Atlantic Drive. Then that's all I was thinking the whole way through. You know, I was just thinking to myself, don't do anything stupid, or don't call the wrong note or something like that. Don't put him off. And I'm thinking to him, whatever the hell you do, don't put the shock off now at this stage. So, and then, you know, you start thinking of all these things. Then you want, oh, will the car stick it? You know, is there anything else can go wrong? And in my head, probably actually the pressure actually gets worse in a way, because all of a sudden now, you know, a time penalty or something stupid on the road book or whatever it might be, you know, it's our rally to lose as such. Like, so all of a sudden you're thinking about all the stupid things you can do to lose the rally as opposed to try and win it, if you know what I mean.
Yes. And like Josh, your description there, like I'm guessing you would rather be the one doing the chasing rather than the one out front. You find it easier to go after somebody than try and hold it.
Yeah, like I suppose I don't really know why, but I'd certainly prefer that. No, it's obviously nice to be winning as well, but yeah, it's, I don't know, there's less pressure, I guess, whenever you're from behind and you're chasing after somebody. I think so.
Mm-hmm. And then, you know, like at the end of the stage, it just seemed to all hit you just almost like a train. The emotions, everything just come out, and then down into the Ross of Penna to all them previous winners. It was some reception you got. Josh, you want to take that?
Yeah, I think for sure. Like it's probably something I never really expected until you actually cross that finish line and you realize and you see everybody else and you sort of, it starts to hit you and you appreciate how big it is to actually win the Donegal Rally. And at least that was the case for me. And I suppose all of my ones there. And yeah, I guess it was pretty special for sure.
Mm-hmm. And you know, Ari Vatanen, John Lyons, Vincent Bonner, Cathal Curley, all them guys there at the hotel, like you couldn't wish for a better welcoming committee.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose the 50th anniversary, which had all them, I suppose it's nearly like an extra bonus to win it on that year and have everybody there. I think it's definitely a win. I think myself and Andy will both remember now.
Yeah, And like Andy, from your point of view too, you know, every time you looked around, there was somebody else. There's Gary Jennings. He won this rally. You know, it's Brian Murphy, Gareth Mac Hale. It was just a surreal experience.
Yeah, for sure. It's surreal, actually, a good way of describing it. I suppose the problem with navigating when you get to the finish of the rally is that it's obviously not over until you get back to Park Ferme. So in my head, all you're thinking the whole time is, now, are we going to get to the next control on time? After, where do we go next to hold the control? Then we go to the ramp, then we go to Park Ferme, and we do post-event scrutiny. And that's all going through your head. And in the meantime, you know, watch call Ari Vat and these lads are floating around. So you watch calls, you don't even realize you're there. Kind of, it's almost after the bit. It was probably actually yesterday. Read it. I was just sitting there at one point. And I said, "Jesus, I can allow on read what went on there." But yeah, and in the middle of it, Joe, you're so panicked about doing something stupid at that point. You know, Josh was probably lucky at that point. He's done his bit, but I'm still on duty for another few minutes just till you get to the very end. You know.
And like, Josh, from your point of view, then go back then to the Mount Errigal Hotel, getting presented with the Manus Kelly Trophy. Like, we all know how big a character Manus was, and then for you to go into the car and bring out the helmet, I don't think there was a dry eye in the house all around the Mount Errigal on Sunday evening.
Oh, I know, and I think the Kelly family dealt with it very well. I think they were the only ones who were fit to manage. But yeah, it was fairly emotional, and yeah, I suppose, you know, all those wee stickers went out of Manus Kelly, and I put it on my helmet the time I got it, and the ribbon, and I suppose it just hit me like I have to take it out whenever we were there with the photo of the family. And yeah, it was fairly emotional time now. Yeah, but I suppose a memory we'll keep as well, you know.
And to put Donegal aside now for a few months, that the championship's looking really positive for you. The Tarmac Championship will start with anyway. Andy, I suppose maybe you want to take that. Where does that leave, just going into Cork?
Yeah, actually, we're only going through it actually earlier, just to see what way it lands. So, just the way it works with the double points in Ulster, it means that I think no matter what happens, the championship will go down to the last round, regardless. But I suppose it does leave us in a good position going into that last round, you know. So, it's funny the way that it's. I suppose depending on the way you look at it from our point of view, we'd love to be we'd love to be able to win it as soon as possible, you know, at all, if at all. But the way it's done, the championship was kind of building, and at the kind of a height in Ulster. But no, for sure. Anyway, the way it's landed with drop scores and all the rest, it's left us in a good position going into the last round in Ulster either way. So hopefully we'll have our shot at making a goal trying to win the championship there. But obviously we have to get through Cork 20 first in the meantime. But definitely that the result of the weekend really helps that, you know. And I think it leaves us. There's the best 5 scores count, so at the minute we have 3 wins in 2 seconds, so that's pretty good. But as I said, absolutely nothing's won yet until you get the finish on Ulster. So we're just hoping out that the good run and the good fortune can continue there.
And like, Josh, from your point of view, like, what a year you're having so far. Like, has there been something that's changed? You know, have you changed your driving style, or is it? Is it a combination of everything, the car, the driving, your mindset, or what is mid 2022 so good so far?
Yeah, I don't think there's any one thing I can really put it down to. I suppose in years gone by where me and Sam was sort of driving the same cars, you know, I sort of just followed suit, and, you know, there's the car we're driving, and there's the setup we're using, and there's the tires we're using. Where this year, where Sam hasn't been doing as much rallying, you know, I've probably put my mind into it a bit more, and I suppose working with Tom Gahan there on the car, and, you know, we've put a lot of work in, and we're constantly trying to change things to suspension setup and different things to try and make the car work a bit better, where I'm like more comfortable with it. So. Yeah, I think like we've got a really good understanding of the car now, and we can make it work, you know, pretty well. Or, you know, it's certainly doing the business for us at the minute anyway. So, yeah, and I don't know what else. Like I suppose we're using the Michelin tires; they're very good as well. And I don't know. I think the whole package. Like if you look at like Andy and Keith have obviously been sitting with me this year, and Jason Dunmonaghan, that they're up at the top of their game. And I suppose whenever everything's working well, everything just becomes a lot easier, and we're not chopping and changing too much to anything too drastic. So, yeah, I think it's just a combination of everything working very well.
Yeah. And I know I've spoken to others there, and they're saying, whenever you hit that sweet spot and everything's just flowing, it's natural. That must be almost for your slotting into every time you get in behind the seat again. The car's right, the tires right, Andy or Keith or whoever's sitting with you, they're right. You just have to bring your A game as well.
Yeah, like it makes my job so much easier whenever everything else is working perfect. I just have to drive it. So
simple as that.
Simple as that.
I think myself, Kevin, the big turning point really was we had a bad enough run in the Cork 20 and the Donegal Harvest last year with Josh's standards, but then he went to Wexford and he got his mojo back there. Like, so I think it all goes back to Wexford Rally 2021, I reckon.
Yeah. Wexford's going to take the credit.
Any man wants to get his mojo back. I wanted to Wexford this year.
Andy, why don't you give your wee spiel there for Wexford Rally 22? Your chance there.
Here's your chance. Yeah, go for it.
Andy says it pretty well.
Yeah, 240 kilometres over 2 days of rallying, 9 stages each day, 18 stages in total for €1,150. Best value entry fee of the year, lads. So anyone who wants to rally, 10th to 11th September in Wexford.
Be there.
That's my sales pitch.
Lads, thank you very much for taking the time. Overjoyed that you took the time, and worthy winners of the Donegal Rally, and I'm just over the moon with the year you're having so far, and long may it continue.
Thanks very much, Kevin. Just quickly to say, just best wishes to David and Matt also. Obviously, the two lads were off on Sunday morning, so hard luck to the boys in terms of the accident, and best wishes to the two lads.
Absolutely. And Josh, you haven't finally to say there?
No, just I was going to say what Andy said, and I hope they have a speedy recovery there. So, yeah, that's all. And look, Kevin, thanks for having us online, and hopefully we'll be talking again soon.
That was interesting from Josh and Andy, and a little surprising to hear that they don't think they can wrap the championship up in Cork, that it is going to go down to the wire in Ulster.
Absolutely, I suppose all the different connotations. They're having a phenomenal year, but with the double points in Ulster and all, I suppose it's never over till it's over. But we should mention some of the other guys that we've mentioned: Meirion, Sam, Declan Boyle, who come good on the Sunday. All seem to click there for him. We can't dismiss these guys because they were going hell of a hard too as well. Look, was there anybody that stood out for you?
I think Declan didn't get the attention from me that he deserved. Like I kind of didn't. I don't want to say I didn't expect his pace on Sunday, but he was kind of not really a factor. He was kind of in his own little bit of no man's land on the leaderboard, and then all of a sudden everything just worked, and he came flying with his fastest times, and he's suddenly flying up there. Obviously, the retirements of those up front helped him a bit as well, but it was incredible final day. I think Meirion as well, to get that stage win was important for him. I think it's a nice thing to know you can win in Donegal, because it was only his second time here as well. We talk about Matt on his first attempt, but I think everybody thinks Meirion's got more experience over in Ireland than he does, because I think the 2 years in COVID have made it seem like he's been around forever, but he's not actually done that many rallies yet. So another great performance from him, and he's very good now at just hoovering up the results. He's always there. He's always just doing the right thing, not doing anything daft. But yeah, I think it's a really nice thing for him to get a first podium. It does act as further proof for those that maybe don't have as much experience in Donegal, that again, with the right prep, with the right mindset, you can get a result.
Absolutely. And Conor, is anybody that you want to give out a special mention to?
Yeah, there's probably two for me that stood out. I thought David Kelly had a great run. Thought he did, good, solid event, kept his nose clean, kept out of mischief. I think he came in without a scratch on that car. I know there was a hairy moment on on the Friday, the last loop, or the
first Thursday, stage 3.
Sorry, yeah. What do you call it? He had a lucky, save over a yump. And then the other one for me was Declan Gallagher getting, 10th place in a Starlet. I thought, again, another solid drive from Declan. Fantastic to see him back, in the top 10 again.
Absolutely. And hopefully we'll catch up with the modified guys next week. I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. Eamon Kelly, blowing turbo and a couple of other wee issues, but his times on Sundays were starting to come real good. We keep forgetting this is his only third time in an R5 car. You probably have seen him in the BRC. Look, this guy, there's something a wee bit special about him.
Yeah, there is, and it's always depressing for me because he's of that generation now that he's younger than me and he's this good, and I don't like that. I'm used to sort of being the young boy, but now it's coming, and these guys are just they're living the dream. But you're right. I think the way he drives, you kind of, and I don't know if it's because it's Kelly in the Kelly car, and you kind of almost forget. But you're right. You don't look at him and think this boy's on his third rally or whatever it is in that car. You kind of almost expect big results from him now, which is kind of unfair in a way. But it's the bar he set for himself. I think last year opened a lot of people's eyes to how good he was in the BRC racing. Will Crichton. I don't think anybody expected that, given the experience deficit, and it's great to see that he's managing to convert that. It obviously was a big blow for him, if you pardon the pun, with the turbo. But as you say, the pace was there, and for him, I think just the fact he's done Donegal in an R5 car, he won't ever forget that.
No, absolutely. And you talk about the way that the whole thing keeps moving. He was there whenever Max McRae was testing, and he made Eamon feel old because he only turned 18 at the weekend. So it is ridiculous that Eamon at 23 is starting to feel old.
That's how it works, isn't it? It's how it works.
Yeah. So anyway, Conor, you caught up with Meirion, and we'll hear his thoughts on the weekend.
Meirion, so Donegal Rally, it was your second time to compete on the event. Massive crowds. It was a great buzz. It was the 50th anniversary. How did you find the event, rocking up to it? I know you've been to Donegal before, but how was this weekend? Was it any different to the norm?
For Donegal, probably not really. I think nobody kind of knew what to expect going back to this year, but it was just the same old, really. Massive crowds. Sort of, to be honest, I think in general I enjoyed the rally a lot more this year than what I did the first time I did it. Just felt sort of a lot more comfortable with everything, and probably just having seen everything once, is enough just to settle yourself, and it was nice to go back and ultimately to come away with a podium. If somebody had offered me that on Friday morning, I think I'd have slapped their arm off for it.
And what was the game plan going into Donegal? What I suppose with Irish Tarmac Championship and all of that, and what were you thinking, or what were you planning?
It's tough, really, because Donegal, I think everybody told me before I went there in 19 that, all the boys sort of step it up a notch for Donegal. And, I kind of thought back then, no, that's all just rubbish. And you sort of pub talk, as that's what they say, But it was true. I found that, the boys really they went a lot quicker in Donegal. They tried that bit harder because winning the rally almost, it means just as much as winning the championship to some boys. So I was aware of that. They have a lot of experience of the rally. Josh, Callum, Ali, all them boys. Matt was a bit of an exception, but he's a 3-time British champion. But I had to be sensible, and for me, it was important to not make any mistakes. We didn't have the experience on some of the stages, and I think we could see that on the stages where we'd done in 19, very similar. We were pretty much there. Knockalla, we were sort of on the same second as Ali and Josh, and then we were quickest in High Glen. And the Friday stages, we weren't very good in the first one for some reason, but the other two we weren't far away either. So I think we just had to be quite sensible about it, not take any massive risks, which I think you can see, because if you look at Killian's clip of the rallies, it's packed with moments for Josh, Alistair, Matt, and Callum. So I haven't popped up in many of them, which maybe is a good thing. So
absolutely, you did seem to keep it fairly steady and fairly tight and neat. And I know particularly in the Friday stages are very technical. There wasn't a lot of room on those stages for making mistakes. And was it, I suppose, did you have to resist the temptation to be sucked into the times that Callum and Matt were doing and trying to get in there?
Yeah, to be honest, Friday I kind of knew we just had to have a solid day, because I kind of expected on Saturday, Sunday that the experience would play more of a part, because the first day was obviously a bit fresher for everyone. So we were there or thereabouts. So the biggest thing for me was not to make a mistake on the first day and give myself a mountain to climb. So I didn't really get sucked into anything. And when you're that early into a 3-day rally, you don't really want to be looking too much at sort of what's around you. You just want to kind of crack on with what you're doing, And if you start racing that early on, then you might sort of get sucked into making a mistake yourself, which is what you don't want to do. And I think it's the nature of the rally. Every year I've been in Donegal, something tends to happen either Saturday afternoon or Sunday morning. And sort of I sat there Saturday night this year thinking, well, this has been very, very quiet so far. The top 6 was pretty much as they were on Friday night, and nothing much had happened. But then obviously Sunday came and it all erupted into action.
Absolutely, and what do you call it? Pretty much, I think going into Saturday morning, I think the event started with only about 5 or 6 competitors missing. So everybody pretty much had kept it very clean on the Friday. And as you say, Saturday it was on the familiar stages and Knockgala and Fanad Head. But again, it all seemed very sensible and there wasn't any high drama. And then hell broke loose on Sunday morning.
It did, yeah, it did. I think maybe we would have seen a bit more if we'd have had the full length of Fanad, maybe, because it would have made that loop just a bit more complicated, I think, with 2 20k stages, and then Carn Hill was a pretty difficult stage as well. And it would have just put a bit more stress on a tyre choice, I think. But no, I mean, everybody was very good. I think it's actually more prominent in rallying these days. The guys seem to be, I don't know if it's because they're fitter or they just put a lot more work in, that, boys don't seem to make many mistakes these days,
Yeah.
And obviously Sunday, I think the Sunday is just, the pressure probably just kicks in a bit. You think obviously winning Donegal is massive and all those guys racing at the front, they get a sniff of it, and it's just like, it mounts on you a bit. And I think you think too much probably about it.
Yeah, and Sunday, so we what do you call it? We lost Callum on the first stage on Sunday morning, and then we lost Matt on the next one, and then, not taking away from your solid drive, but suddenly you were sucked into that podium fight.
Yeah. Well, for me, I kind of said go in there that I was 5th, and I thought that's good for me, because championship wise, we were 4th, I think, or 3rd at the time, and we were, thinking about it, we weren't pushing stupidly hard, but still, I think we were only 40 seconds behind Josh and Ali going into Sunday, so I wasn't too. I didn't feel like I was slow, but it's just I wasn't probably taking that extra 10th of a risk to try and get those seconds. And then I think, ultimately that shows, because, you had probably 4 or 5 guys who had the speed to win the rally, but only one of them really finished without a problem. So at percentages, it works out. So, me and Sam kind of joked at the start of the last stage that, we were thinking, is this just going to land in our lap kind of thing, because, yeah, it was kind of, I was talking to somebody today about it. The way it worked was quite strange. You had Matt and Callum were pretty close, and then it was like 20 seconds to Ali and Josh were very close as well. And then you had the same gap back to me and Sam. So everybody was kind of racing. And then I was actually on Sunday more looking towards Declan, because I had an idea that Sam through Garton and I thought Glenn as well with a World Car would just get a bit of a jump on me, to be honest. But yeah, I was a bit surprised we got so close to him in the end, because I was kind of had more of a look behind me, because I didn't want to lose a position, because it would, I kind of wanted to, I didn't want to, because we were 5th on Friday and I didn't want to lose 2 positions over the next 2 days, because I'd have been a bit annoyed with that. So we just kind of kept an eye on Declan, but Declan then stepped it up big time, so we had to as well. So it kind of took us both closer to Sam. But no, look, for me, 3rd, I was just as happy with. I said to Sam at the last stage that I wasn't going to go for it, because I'd never been through Atlantic Drive before. And, honestly, I didn't try to go for him. It looks like it on the time, because we took 8 seconds off him. But it was just, we had to drive pretty hard, because I knew Declan would probably have a go, because he only had to take, I think, 11 seconds off me. So in a stage that busy, I know it's only 13 Ks, but it's so technical. There's so much time in it. So we had to be pretty sharp just to try and make sure that Declan stayed behind us.
And on Sunday, so there was 2 stages cancelled on the Sunday. One of those was High Glen, and when High Glen did run the second time, you set the fastest time. Do you think the 2 stages would have helped you catch Sam? Because I mean, you finished only 2.4 seconds off the world car that Sam was driving.
Yeah, it was strange, because I think the pattern of the weekend is we were stronger on the first pass than all of them, which was. It seemed to be the pattern. We tended to maybe take a second or 2 on the first pass, and the second pass we'd either be equal or they just nick a bit. So I'm not sure if it'll help. Maybe, maybe not. Atlantic Drive, I think the R5 car was a better car than maybe what Sam had in there, to be honest. You can't really use whatever extra power you've got in it. But so maybe, who knows? But that's the way it went. So, we can't change it. To be honest, we got to the end and I thought, right, we've kept Declan at bay. So, and I had an idea. I knew obviously the extent of Ali's problems as well. So I knew there was a chance that we'd take more than 15 seconds out of him if we had a good run and we got onto the podium. But then, you hear you're only 2 seconds off second place. And you think, okay, it would have been nice just to have those extra 2 seconds. You just try and recall then all the little mistakes you made all weekend. And to be honest, we didn't really make any. We just had sort of the odd moment. We had a pretty big moment in Carnhill on Saturday and one on the first stage on Friday. And then other than that, the only stage I was probably disappointed with was Fanad on the Saturday afternoon. We made a change to the car and it made the car feel a lot more positive, but then I kind of tried to extract too much from it and I drove, a bit ignorantly kind of thing. I wasn't patient with it. And with Fanad a lot of it was just chicanes and we were just getting bad exits all the time because I was trying to carry too much speed through them. And, I think we lost probably 2-3 seconds to Sam there where we matched him the first time. So, it's little things, but over 3 days, everybody has their little niggles and they think about things and little things go wrong. So, I'm sure if you said to Sam, he's probably thrown away a bit of time over the weekend too.
Yeah. I know, listen, it was a fantastic battle and it was a delight to be there to watch it. It was incredible. And say, we thought we had all the excitement and the drama on Friday and Saturday, and then suddenly, Donegal throws in.
Honestly, I've been obviously with all the years I worked on the rally. Obviously, 16 was very dramatic with the Manus finish, and the last stage and everything. But I think in terms of raw drama, that's the Sunday we just had was probably the biggest, because I think if you'd have said on Saturday night that'll be the top three, I think a lot of people would have probably laughed at you. But it just goes to show, I think, at that pace, people make mistakes. We're all only human at the end of the day. So, it's tough to maintain it for 2 days, let alone 3. So, it's just it's pretty difficult.
Yeah, and you mentioned there, like, obviously, we said it's your second time to compete, but Donegal's nothing new to you. It's a rally. It's probably quite close to the heart of the Meirion Evans motorsport family. You had a win there with Gary Jennings' car in 2012, and you've had the 3 wins with Manus. What does Donegal mean to you and to the family?
Donegal's just a great place, for me. It just feels a bit homely when we go back, because we made so much friends over the years with people local in the community. Like even on the Sunday I was ringing, people that the weather was obviously a bit of a surprise on Sunday morning when it rained, and I rang some people I got to know through Manus. Seamus Doherty, I think he's actually in gravel for Gary at the weekend, but he sent me a text last week saying if you need any help, give me a call. And I knew that when he was working with Manus that he knew everybody in the county. So if you needed to know anything, give him a call. And I wanted to know the situation with the weather, and he's always a phone call away from someone that's living in one of the stages. So knowing those kind of people, those kind of experiences are great, and everybody's so helpful. And the rally is obviously special for us. We won it 4 times with customers, so it was very nearly 5 on Sunday. It would have been nice, but no, it's a great place. I mean, everybody asks me sort of what's Donegal like, and that's all you can say is just go and look for yourself, because you can't explain it. There was 2 or 3 boys with us working at the weekend that had never been to the event before, and like they all said like nothing could have prepared me for that. It was like it's out of this world,
Yeah, I know. I was reading Luke Barry's piece, and
Luke was one of them.
Yeah, and he captured it quite well, I thought.
He did, yeah. I mean, he's always said like because he'd never been to rally in Ireland apart from the Ulster, and he said to me before, like, is it that different? Because I mean, I can't imagine it being much bigger. And I was like, man, you have no idea. Yeah, it's a different story once you get into Letterkenny in June. It's just an unreal atmosphere, to be honest.
It is. And there was a very touching moment at the end of the rally when yourself and JJ saw Subaru S12, the Mandy, as she's affectionately known. Manus Kelly's car was sitting at the hotel just after the Atlantic Drive stage. What was that like to see the car again? And it was all, fully kitted out and
Yeah.
you know, in Manus's paint job.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that car. I mean, we had that car for I think 9 years. So you know, Dad won a lot in it, to be fair, before Manus took over. You know, and with the Donegal wins. And yeah, I always say to Dad, "That's your car." You know, whoever owns it is your car. You know, that's and it's what I'll always be remembered for. I think it was like. We obviously finished we got called into the hotel for a few photos there, and you know, to see that car there for me was more special than any of the other ones because it's just personal, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a lot of great memories. Every time I look at that car in the livery and everything, it's just really good memories, and it kind of made me appreciate kind of what we'd achieved as well. You know, Donegal's the biggest rally in Ireland, and then some people would argue it's the biggest international rally in Europe outside of, you know, the ERC, WRC kind of circus. So. You know, it's yeah, it kind of just made me think, well, you know, we've done all right. I'm pretty proud of this one. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, to pull off 3 back-to-back wins is incredible, and Donegal genuinely is. And as you know, that rally can bite back. Yeah,
it definitely can. You know, there was a Saturday afternoon in 2016 where we thought Manus had no chance of winning rallies. he was in a field with. You know, losing time. He was a minute off the lead, and then it turned around, which a lot like happened Sunday. Really, a lot changed in a short space of time. But yeah, I think it's one that everyone in Ireland and you know probably anyone who's quite heavily involved in Irish rallying would always like to win is Donegal. So you know we've had a good bit of success there over the years, and hopefully we'll have some more to come.
Absolutely. So that's Donegal over with. Next round of the Irish Tarmac Championship is the Cork 20. What's the plan?
Cork 20 is the rally I've actually done most in the Tarmac Championship. So I've come second the last 2 times, so we'd like to win. But to be honest, we'll see. I mean, I felt in Donegal like I drove a lot better. I'd struggled a bit on the couple of events before. We did, I think, after the circuit, we just clipped a wheel, did some damage to the car, and after that, I think it just knocked me off my stride a bit. So I felt just Donegal, we kind of reset. There was kind of, I didn't put too much pressure on myself to get a result because I knew it'd be tough anyway. So we just kind of let the driving come, and it was good. So we'll see in Cork 20 now. We were leading last year from Callum for a bit and just got edged in the end. And we were in a very close race in 2019 with Matthew McCormick as well. So and I was third in 2018. So I'd like to think it's on its way, but it's never that easy to get an international win. So we'll see.
Okay. And one last thing, just I suppose it's a curiosity thing. Kevin and I have often talked when we look at the entry list, the number of polos and the number of polos, you know, for the Irish rounds. What is the fascination? Like, why for a car that's, you know, no longer factory supported? Why is it, you know, achieving what it is?
The car's just that it's good, you know, it's a good package. I mean, Volkswagen, in fairness to them, they put a hell of a lot of work into developing it and the testing and, you know, all the mileage you put in the cars. The other good thing, I think, is that a lot of the VW guys were ex-Pro Drive, which is kind of what pushed us in that direction. And we still have some good contacts, you know, from they don't all work there anymore. But yeah, the car's is very good. It's well developed before you buy it. It's kind of not one of those where you have to, you know, sort some problems out or some teething issues because they've all been dealt with before you buy the car, kind of thing. That's good. And I think the popularity probably stemmed from what we did last year, mostly with Matt and Ossian. We had a few good results ourselves, but then when we went to the Ulster with the 2 boys, and you know, you don't need me to tell you what happened. It raised a lot of interest, and we could have sold. We had 4 cars at the time, and we could have sold them twice over within a week, to be honest, all to Ireland. But yeah, I don't think, you know. Don't get me wrong. The Polo's a great car, but you know, it's still, you look performance-wise, Matt went in a Citroen at the weekend and was fast, you know. So yeah, the Polo's a very good car. I found it's easy to drive and everything. I can't comment on the Citroen, but there's a lot of strong packages in R5 at the moment. It's just, I think the Polo, maybe because of what it did in the UK and Ireland last year, was probably looked at favourably for this year.
That was a fascinating interview there with Meirion. Kevin also caught up with another Polo R5 driver, Gareth Mac Hale.
So, Gareth, Donegal at the weekend, right from Friday morning, you know, the driver's briefing, the energy is already building. It must be special to be back there again.
Yeah, definitely, Kevin. Like, obviously, it's been a long time since we've been up to Donegal and a driver's briefing like that, and it brings up the memories of what the drivers' briefing used to be like in Donegal. They really do it to the best of the drivers' briefings, and it's second to none. When you're sitting there in the theatre and you're watching over the old videos and the clips that they're bringing up on the screen there, it really does get the heart pumping and the blood going. And I think I can probably speak for everybody that's there, that it's the right way to start a rally, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And right into the stages on the Friday morning, damp conditions, was a bit of a lottery tire-wise for everybody. How did you fare out?
Yeah, it definitely was. Like the stages on Friday, we found that Brian and myself, during the recce, they're very, very tricky stages and difficult, as in there's very fast corners and the slow corners, and so that the grip would change sort of with the tarmac and that's there. So we had a couple issues there on Friday there with the car and that, but we got them sorted, and I was glad really just to get around on the Friday, because they could really, really catch you out, and obviously to get back into the seat time as well was a big thing that I wanted to make sure that we got the 3 days, in constant competition there, one day after the next, because it's so important there, because we're just back on the learning curve and we're starting really from scratch, and it's probably just our second rally there in the car. So we really, really enjoyed it. We were glad to get over to Friday and get into the classic stages then on Saturday. But everything went well. We're starting to get there, sort of baby steps, as I said before, and our times there. I think we're about nearly to go to 2.5 to maybe 3 seconds a K down on the Friday, and I think we got that just down to over a second a K by the end of the rally, off the fastest time. So I'm happy that we're going in the right direction, and it's great to get the competition and to get to, as I said, to 3 full days, one after the other in Donegal, and to get around it. That was our main objective there for the weekend, is just to get.
Yeah, and you talked there about the classics.
The feel things,
That's right. Yeah, and you talked there about the classic stages. Talk us through sitting at the bottom of Knockalla, looking up that hill. Does that raise the blood pressure?
Definitely, and then especially sitting there in Knockalla and hard tires, and it's starting to definitely raise it. I think got to raise a bit more, but it does. But it's even any of the stages there. Like you look at Knockalla, it's been a long time since we've been over Knockalla, and then sort of to go over the top of the mountain, you need to have your lines and have your full commitment, be on top of your game. So, but coming even down through the village and that there, and down to the tighter sections, it's a classic stage. But they all are, Kevin. Like we're looking at Glen there, and Fanad, Atlantic Drive, and then even Garton there on Sunday. I never did Garton there before, and it really is. I have to say, it's probably. So I was asked before, sort of what was my favourite stage in Donegal, and I always thought Port Lake was, but I definitely want to get another crack at Garton. It's unbelievable. It's known as the roller coaster at Donegal, and it definitely is. It's a brilliant stage. We'd come off the end of it, and you'd want to just try straight around and go again. But it was great, and the car went well, and everything went well with the car, and we learned a lot even on the setup and the type of sort of driving and everything. Way to drive the cars, because it is different to drive the R5s compared to the WRC cars, because they carry so much more speed. You have to be a bit more sort of progressive with the braking, instead of in the WRC cars you'd be just jumping on the brake as late as you can and stuff, while not sort of carrying speed because you have the power to pull you out of the corners. But we've learned an awful lot the weekend, and it's fantastic. It was brilliant, and I have to say, we've been coming off Fanad, you're heading for Knockalla, and as you come off the end of Fanad, you can look down over the beach of Port Salin, and I haven't seen crowds like it, and camper vans and cars parked. Like you could see it from the end of Fanad. It's unbelievable, and everywhere every corner that you're going to, there's just spectators, and it reminded me probably back to 2006 there, the last time I would have seen sort of spectators like that at a rally, and even coming back in with the traffic into Letterkenny, the whole town was at a buzz, and everybody out, even the locals say outside their houses with kids, and they're taking pictures of you driving by in the cars, and they all wave, and it really was. It's a fantastic weekend, and credit to Donegal Motor Club. Like the rally's got so big, like. Yeah,
and again, and as you say, all them things, it all combines just to makes it even more than a rally. It's a festival almost, nearly.
Oh, 100%. It's the showcase of Irish motorsport, And you can see that for the entries that they've got and the quality of entries and the caliber of people that are even from overseas that are coming to do the event, to try and have a crack at it there. Even Matt Edwards, I believe, sort of was saying in some of the interviews, that the stage is unbelievable, that he's never sort of driven on it before, that stages of that quality, which is great. And, even they did an article I just read on Dirtfish as well there, they were over with young Max McRae, and, because if you're ever thinking of going, don't hesitate to have to go. Like, and it's so true. The whole festival, it's a festival of Irish motorsport, and it definitely is the best of Irish motorsport there at the weekend.
Absolutely. And we talk about the festival. What better way of demonstrating that than the Legend event on the Sunday? Your father was up at it along with all those other legends. What a special day!
Unbelievable. And we were chatting about it there even afterwards, and we're sort of saying still the interest that's in even that older sort of generation of cars, like, the people are coming up to the Rastapinna Hotel and they're wanting to meet the legends. And I think it goes to show the respect, that they have for the rally, and also for Donegal as well, to organise that, to get the legends of Irish motorsport, the best of the best that was ever in Irish rally, and all there on one weekend. And also then to have Jimmy McRae and Ari Batten coming over, like, they're names that are known worldwide, and to come over and to do that, it just shows respect that they have for Donna and then for the Donegal Rally. And it's a credit to himself and everybody there's involved, yourself as well, Kevin, and to put that together, because it wouldn't have been easy done. And even the buzz that they were, like, there's still a lot of fire in them there. They're all out sort of trying to run, and how to say, Mark Doyle, Nonsense League, I think he had a great time there, and Dad wasn't hanging around, he was pushing it up great, and could maybe started firing him again. You never know, he could be out in the 06 car maybe by the end of her runs.
And as well as that, whenever you guys come off the last stage, getting the opportunity to come into the Rostopena was only for a few minutes, but it's so hard to comprehend, the buzz, the excitement, the list of winners that was there, yourself and Brian included. It was magical.
Yeah, like, where would you get it? That's the way, like, the whole way back from the 70s, the whole way up then to the Moffats there, the one there, even like Josh there, like this year, like the whole way up, like there's 50 years there of motorsport, and they're all there in the one spot. And I think it's not to be looked at shyly or anything of what came about at that weekend. And then to add then to that as well, that it was a fantastic rally up at the top there, that the pace was unbelievable, and so tight battles the whole way down, from the internationals to the nationals, and any class down the whole way. There was just close battles, and everybody was on the door handles and with the crowds. And then the weather, it was a bit sort of mixed match, but it kept itself dry. And you see the buzz around the town, and even the traffic going back into Letterkenny. It just made for a fantastic weekend, and it sort of spurs you on, and it makes you sort of think that this is what it's about, and this is what life is about. If you get the opportunity to go in to do these things, you have to grab them with both hands and go and enjoy it. And like, myself and Brian really enjoyed the weekend, and obviously we have a bit of work to do and to get up, but we know that we're only really starting from scratch again. But the car is great. We're really comfortable in the car, and Ronan has done a brilliant job on the running of the car and that. So we'll keep tipping away and we'll see where we can get.
Absolutely. And what's the plan now next? Cork, or you haven't lined up before that?
Yeah, we're going to do the stone throwers first there at Tipperary, and then we'll go to Cork, and we'll see after that. Then have to go away on holidays there to bring the family. So I can't just sort of walk away from that. But we'll have to go on holidays, so we'll probably miss the Galway Summer Rally, but we might maybe come up and maybe look at the Harvest later on in the year. But it's all about seat time. But definitely the next one then is stone throwers in Cork after that. And but I wouldn't mind going rallying again this weekend now.
So Gareth, thank you very much for taking the time. It's been a pleasure as always.
Not at all, Kevin. Thanks very much. Thank you.
So fantastic there to hear from Gareth Mac Hale. That it's the family name, the father. It's just part of Irish rallying through and through. And speaking of the father, the Legends event at the weekend. What can I say? Boyhood dreams. I don't know. Box ticked. I don't even. I'm lost for words here. Look, what was your thoughts on the Legends event?
Well, first things first, I hear you're a bit of a high roller these days, Kevin. Having dinners with Mr. Ari Vatanen himself is quite some acclaim. So I'd be putting that on the headstone if I were you when the day comes. That's it. That's got to be the peak. As good as this podcast is, that's the level. But no, in all seriousness, it was brilliant to have them all here. It obviously was 50th anniversary year of Donegal, so that's a great reason to celebrate. And it was, I think for me, I was stood watching the first stage on Sunday, which obviously wasn't meant to be originally one of the Legends route, but it was through unforeseen circumstances that had to be changed. So they came through there and said that. I made a point of staying to watch them all because I just wanted to see them. It's one of these things you want to see. You saw X driving Y. And I have to say, the commitment for some of them as well, given the age of the cars and the age of them, some of them as well, was without proper pace notes. It was quite impressive how quickly they were willing to take the corner that I was at. It was brilliant. The lineup, as I'm sure you remind everybody in full, was incredible. The highlight for me, I'll be honest, was Andrew Nesbitt. Maybe that dates me a little bit, but for me, he was just the one. And to the point where I was in a corner shop at the weekend and I saw some Cuisine de France bakery goods, and that got me excited. And that's the level of his power and his liveries. But Austin McHale's Celica is another highlight. Obviously, Ari and the BMW as well. Mm-hmm. Brilliant. But the real emotional one for me was Donna Kelly driving Manus' Subaru. That was just beautiful to see. And I have to say, he was going for it as well. Like, he was driving that thing like it's meant to be driven. But it was just fantastic to see that.
Absolutely. And Conor, your thoughts on it then as well?
Kevin, had it even just been the cars, the M3, the Celica, the John Lyons Mark II on their own, but to have the actual drivers in them, Billy in the Porsche 911, as Luke said, McHale in the Celica, it's just wow. It was just incredible. And again, to see the look on their faces, like they were equally as excited to see Vincent Bonner, just back on the stages on Atlantic Drive again, where again, years ago, I went and I watched them when they were competing, and to see them back, it was just, hair standing in the back of my neck.
Mm-hmm. Like, you forget that these guys, they're rally fans too. They took great delight in, meeting up with, Jimmy McRae, Ari Vatanen, Billy Coleman. They haven't seen these guys for years, and they just drop back into a conversation as if they've been speaking to them yesterday. Do you mind the time this happened? Do you remember this happened? Jimmy and Ari bantering about, the circuit. It's like you're standing there going, oh my God. But like, as you say, the cars, like a Porsche 911, a Lancer WRC. A Lancer WRC, there's probably only 4 or 5 of them left in the world. That S12B, whenever it started up, the whole place just, the silence it fell, it's an unmistakable noise. And then, the Escona, the BDAs, you're getting shivers even thinking about it, it's just an unreal experience. But like, one man was instrumental in making this happen. Yet there was, the motor club was involved in one thing or another. But Donna Kelly, he makes dreams into a reality, and we can't downplay that enough at all, really, So,
if I think back to what last year, where he got Vincent back into a rally car, and then we see Vincent driving Atlantic Drive. It's just wow, just absolutely incredible. Fair play to Donna. Like, it really was. It was a dream come true and a vision that he took the idea and made it reality.
Absolutely. So I suppose I caught up with a few of the guys. I caught up with Cathal Curley, Kevin Flanagan, who was sitting with Ari, John Lyons, Vincent Bonner, James Cullen, Seamus McGettigan, Andrew Nesbitt, James O'Brien, Austin McHale, Donald Barrett, and then the man himself, Donna Kelly. So we'll get a few words from them, and then sure we'll start wrapping it up then. Cathal Curley, we're just here at the Legends 50th anniversary of the Donegal Rally. It's been a fantastic day.
It's been a wonderful day, absolutely fantastic. It's a great situation and a great event for old friends meeting. And when you consider Jimmy McRae and Ari Vatanen and Billy Coleman, I'll not mention myself, I'm here anyway, but it's great, it's just reminiscent of the days gone by,
And just the way, you fall into easy conversation, maybe it's 20, 30 years ago since you met some of these guys, and just...
Well, I was just saying to John, John, my co-driver. It's 47 years from my last drove on a closed road. So I had a wee bit of making up to do, and I don't think they picked the best stage in the world in, what do you call the stage? Garden. I don't think I think maybe something a wee bit easier would have maybe sufficed, but it is what it is, But at the end of the stage, I was asked if what I thought about it, and did you enjoy it? I said I did. I said, in fact, it was actually better than sax.
Well, that's nothing to argue with that, is
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It would just make you appreciate the car instead of appreciating the other end of life.
That's it.
Yeah.
Cathal, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
Kevin Flanagan, 50th anniversary of Donegal. You're part of this Legends event. It's something else, isn't it?
Oh, it's been a fantastic weekend. From start to finish, the evening's crack we had here last night with all those guys, listening to all the stories. Plenty of slagging going on, so it's been good. It's been very good.
Yeah, and you've had the privilege of sitting with Ari Vatanen today. Must be boyhood dreams.
I think it's every boyhood's dream, and probably lots of girlhoods too. But it's been fantastic. It's been really good. The welcome that Ari's received out and about on the stages, and the amount of people that obviously hung on to see all these legends through the stages, it's been brilliant. Really, really good.
And it's just, we talk about, the Collins, the Colemans, these were guys that has took the sport, and put it in a better place to hand on to the next generation. It's great to see that they're all here today to help celebrate this event.
Now, there's some really big names here. Obviously it's a different era to where we are now, and even Josh Mac Hale, Andrew Nesbitt, those guys were more prevalent in my time than the likes of Ari and Billy Coleman and the likes. But just seeing those guys here today and standing, having the crack and yarning, and it's been really, really good. It's great that they've all come out and supported it. It took a lot of effort by an awful lot of people to get it to the stage. This is the first time anything like this has happened at a motorsport Ireland event, where guys have been given the opportunity to drive safely but quickly. So hopefully it'll continue on. Hopefully this will be something that can be repeated at other events throughout the country.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Ken. Thank you.
John Lyons, we're here celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Donegal Rally. What a fantastic weekend it's been in the rally, and this Legends event has been something else.
It has been absolutely fantastic. I'm privileged and honoured to be here. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. Still got the Atlantic Drive stage to do, so I'm looking forward to that because long while since I've been there, and it's just been a lovely, lovely weekend. Now, I was sorry to see the two boys go out this morning because they were having such a ding-dong of a battle, but that's rallying, and you never win it till you're over the line, so that makes it interesting, I know, but you don't like to see people go out.
No. And then, the Legends event now has been part of this year. You've been reunited with your OIJ 323.
Yes.
That has to be special for you.
It was, honestly, it's very precious, and having not really, it's 40 years since I was in that car. It's been a very lucky car for me. I'd won the rally twice, and to be reunited with it, thanks to Gareth Mac Hale and Donna Kelly. I'm delighted to drive it today. Can't drive it like I did 40 years ago, I can assure you, but at least I'm getting round, and enjoying very much being reunited with it.
Absolutely. John, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Vincent, we're here celebrating 50 years of the Donegal International Rally. A rally has been a huge part of your life, and I'll say you're just delighted to be here today.
There's no words that I can explain, it's just unbelievable, you don't realise it, you get in and you go off the line, and I'm in a very good car, it's a historic car, but it's only a brand new car, but the way it goes and the stages, I never drove garden in my life,
Yes.
And I'd swear that it was Callum Devine, the amount of people that was on that stage, and the juniors and everything had gone through, and there were still thousands and thousands of people there. It just shows you that they have the old cars all the time,
You were one of the guys there, the Rally of the Rosses in 1972, and then 71, and 72, just come here to the Rossitana Hotel. We're standing outside here today. Did you ever imagine 50 years later the animal that this rally has become?
Oh, no, nobody else, I remember being over there where the cars were lined up, and walking around that and then day. And one thing that stood out to me was Adrian Walsh's car from Lisbon, and it was Harry Hamilton that sponsored him, and on the wheelnuts of his car was BOY this was, you know,
Just something
terrible. And now to come back and look at all this again, you know, unbelievable.
Vincent, thank you very much.
Not at all, thank you.
Seamus McGettigan, we're here at the 50th anniversary of the Donegal Rally. You know, it's a rally that's always been a huge part of your life. Delighted to see this such a special event this year.
Definitely so, Kevin. I remember it's just showing my age. I came in here in 1972, and this time of the evening, after doing the first international, and that's 50 years ago. So it's great to get back again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this 50th anniversary, this Legends event, has just, you know, it has just been for me, it's been a boyhood dream. I would say even for the likes of yourself, being reunited with some old friends, it's been special.
That's unbelievable. And the way that man run it, Donna over there, in fairness, there's a credit to him to run this. That is someone extra special. All extra special for us to be involved in.
And for yourself and Vincent to get back into a car?
It has felt powerful good there now in Garton. I would say it'll look powerful good back to on the what do you call it?
And the drive here now?
The drive. It's our favourite.
Yes. Well, Seamus, thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Kevin. Thank you.
James Cullen, we're here celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Donegal Rally. This Rally Legends event, it's something else, isn't it?
As you say, something else. Super experience. Guys are all talking about like Christmas coming early, and it is for us guys. Like it really is to go back out. You see the lineup of cars. Been here the last night for the dinner, and it's just it's really good. Like it's the lineup of the cars, and you know, for the public to come down and see the cars in front of you and see them actually live rather than a museum or a photograph or something like that. It's great. Like it really is.
And like, you know, the Donegal Rally is like a special place in people's heart, and like it's hard to imagine we're standing here outside the Russell Hotel, you know, 50 years ago when this event started, and like look what it has become.
It's great, like, and it's credit to all the people who put this together. Like, you know, that they've made our weekend. Hopefully, we've brought back memories to lots of other people. We're sitting there this morning, and we're talking to Seamus McGettigan beside me. I said, "Do you ever think we'd be sitting here signing autographs in Ari Vattel beside us?" So we're all brought up with that legend and the Donegal Rally from our early years, like, you know, and to see all the people together in the cars.
Christmas is coming early.
Aye, we're the kids today, so it's great to be an OAP, but still think like a child. Still think it's Christmas. So.
James, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Andrew Nesbitt, we're here at the 50th anniversary of the Donegal Rally, and this Legends event has really taken on a life of its own today.
It's been amazing. Look at the lineup of cars here. We've got Porsches, we've got Lamborghinis, we've got Toyotas, we've got BMWs, we've everything here. Not to mention the Subaru and the Mitsubishi. And it's been a great demonstration run for all the young people who haven't seen these cars 25 years ago.
Yeah, I think, you know, the assault on the senses, you know, of the noise, the smell. You know, these new cars, they're fantastic. They're so fast now, but there's something magical about these older cars.
Well, you know, there's a lot of technology in them, and you know, when you switch that turbo on and hit the little button at the start line, all of a sudden, whew, all of this horsepower arrives at the one time, and it's just an amazing feeling taking off the start line.
Yeah. And like to meet up with, you know, the likes of Ari Vattel, you know, heroes of yours whenever you were starting out, like this is special this weekend.
I have to say they're all heroes of mine, every one of them. And you know, Cathal Curley, he's 81, and he's flying. He's flat out today, and he's filling the road, which is great. At 81 years old, and 50 years ago he did this rally. So for me, I did it on his 25th anniversary, his 30th, and here I am having a look round on the 50th.
And you know, and playing such an integral role of that as well. And, you know, this man, Mr. Donegal, like, you know, what has he done? He is, you know, the people he has brought together for this event has been something else.
It's been amazing, and you know, the fact that Don is from the county and has had a lot of success in life himself, and to bring everybody together was an amazing feat, and he did it, and he was the only man that could do it actually, and he's brought people from all over the world here. Congratulations to him.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
James O'Brien, we're here at the Legends Donegal 50th anniversary. It's been a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, it has been. It's suppose as a spectacle, it's been incredible, and it's bringing back memories to us, and hopefully brings back a few to the people that are watching and spectating.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, you know, for me, while I was still am a competitor, but was a competitor at a level here. Me, like everybody else, I'm just looking at the Cathal Curleys, the Ari Vatnans, the Billy Colemans, and, you know, the likes of Austin. While you competed against them, you know, we all remember them in our younger days as the people we looked up to and aspired to. Maybe I won't say, well, we'll call it emulate, even though it was from the passenger seat, but still.
And, like, you know, as you say, the names here, and to you know, stand here in this field and look around and to see heroes, legends, friends, you could call some of them.
That's the great part about it. You know, the sport is very democratic in that way. You know, you can walk up to Ari Vatnan and he'll speak to you. There are no prima donnas.
James, thank you very much.
You're more than welcome.
Josh Mac Hale, we're here celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Donegal Rally. You know, it's a rally that's been a big part of your life for many years. Good to be back this weekend.
Yeah, delighted to be back, really, Kevin, and you know, it's been fantastic what the club has done and what Donna has done here for the 50th anniversary, and I think it's great to see all these, like the Barry coming from Finland and all the rest of the guys here for the weekend has been excellent, and you know, it has been an overall, and the rally has been very exciting. At the top end of the first 10 cars, there's been practically nothing between them all weekend. Unfortunately, you lost two of the top two this morning, really, in a way, you know, so it probably took a little bit of the limelight off the event, but that's Donegal. Like, I mean, you're never finishing Donegal till it's over, you know, so that's it, you know.
Absolutely. And this Legends event today, you know, reunited with old friends, back in the car again.
Yeah, it is, yeah, you know, the Legends have been fairly good, you know, and it's been a demonstration run, really, as such. You know, this car here has a good few wins, so it's a very good car, where we've got 2 championships and something like 14 starts and 12 wins and 2 seconds, and that, you know, it's been very reliable and good, you know, so it's still not too far off what it was originally, and Mark Ryle and the KD cars have rebuilt the car and put it all back together, so it seems very good.
And meeting up with old friends again too, and
yeah, of course,
the stories flowing again.
With Andrew and here, obviously, and Billy and Vincent Bonner, and, you know, all them lads, like, I mean, they'd all have been around our era and that, you know, so, and of course, Cathal Curley's the elder statesman, you know, so yeah, it'll be very good. Yeah.
Excellent. Austin, thank you very much.
No problem, thanks.
Donald Bar, we're here celebrating the 50th year of the Donegal International Rally. This Legends event today has been pretty special.
Oh, sure, it's amazing, Kevin. Myself and Donna were driving out to Garden there, and we were talking about all the cars in front of us, from Andrew to Austin, right up to Billy Coleman there, and John Lyons, and obviously Ari Vatnan at the front there. Sure, I used to go down to the crossroads at the front of the house years ago and see all these boys going around, so that was amazing.
And like, you know, the dinner last night, you know, you looked around that room, like, you know, boyhood dream come true, really.
Aye, well, as you've been meeting, Ari Vatnan was a boyhood dream come true, so yeah, no, it was great. Sure, and fair play to Donegal, sure, the work, time and effort he's put into it has been unbelievable.
Absolutely. And, you know, the Donegal Rally is at 50 years of age. You know, it's an event that holds, you know, memories for you, good and bad. But like, today has been another new chapter for you again today.
Well, today was always about a tribute to Manus, really, Kevin. You know, fair play to Donna. Donna went and bought the car and has it up in the museum, and we talked about when we were doing this that we'd go out and, as a tribute to Manus, and we did that, and did it proud, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Donald.
Thanks, Kevin.
Good man. Thank you. So, Donna, we're at the 50th anniversary of the Donegal Rally. This Legends event has been extraordinary.
Yeah, it's here. It's great to be part of it, and you know, the guys, I think, have all had a good buzz, and it really kind of reassures them and reminds them just how popular they all are in the sport, and the way people hold them in high esteem, and yeah, it's just been fabulous.
Yeah, you know, saying to James O'Brien, you know, we look around this field, you know, there's legends, there's heroes, you know, but the friendship, the way they just slot back in again as if it was yesterday that they were competing on the stage, it's a joy to see.
Yeah, it's great, you know, and I still think even on a demonstration run there was a little bit of competitive tension there, you know, so, but all good banter, you know, good fun, yeah, so it's been great.
And the line-up of cars has, you know, just been phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great, you know, and now the guys reunited with their original cars, you know, as well. It's been fabulous, you know, and yeah, just you know, John Lyons back in this car beside us, and Vincent driving a BDA again, and filly in the Porsche. Now, it's just brilliant, you know.
And like the 12B for the spectator to hear the 12B roar through the stage again too.
Yeah, it was great, and it was great that I got the opportunity to do it with Donald, and obviously quite emotional for him to go back in the car down the stages that he had so much success on with Manus. But yeah, look, you couldn't not pay a tribute to Manus Kelly.
Yeah. And we have to say a special word of thanks to yourself for making this happen.
Here, look, it was just a concept, an idea, and those guys like Declan McBurty, yourself, Dan Pattern, various other people all rode in behind it and made it happen. And we've been very fortunate to be given cars by the likes of the Mulholland family. Gary McElhenney gave his car, so many others. So there's so many we should thank.
Well, thank you very much.
Cheers.
I talked earlier about boyhood dreams. Like, I was like the kid in the toy shop there on Sunday, and getting an opportunity to speak to guys that I'd seen in the stages years ago. It was, I suppose now we start wrapping up. So, highlights from the weekend. Conor, what was your highlight from the weekend?
I hope I'm not stealing Luke's thunder here, but I had to be spending the day on Knockalla, staying for the 2 runs, just enjoying the atmosphere, soaking up the atmosphere in that mountain, the crowds that came and went for each of the 2 runs, and just watching the cars coming up through the hairpins. Was just happy. I could have stayed all, another day doing the same thing. It was just incredible, and we had the weather. It was just fantastic.
Luke, and your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have to say, Conor, it's hard to disagree with that. But thankfully, I was thinking of something different. And it's a shout out to Roger Dawson, who I met through Adam Hall, obviously a friend of the podcast. He bought me my first ever Guinness. And it was good. It was very good. I enjoyed plenty of those in the Mount Arago Hotel, I'll be honest. Probably more than I care to remember when I look at my bank statement, but there we are. One of those, but it has to be done. But the entire weekend, genuinely, it's a bit of a cliche answer as well, but just to be there and to soak it up and for it to be as good as I've been told. Because you always, when you get told these things, but it's a never meet your heroes analogy, isn't it? Like, you really don't want it to let you down. But put it this way, I'm looking at ferries and flights and hotels for next year already. So that kind of says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I suppose it's only right that for me, the rally from the get-go, I think it's going to rate amongst one of the best ever. The competition on the stages and all, but the highlight had to be Sunday for me. To see the joy in them guys' faces coming off stages, that haven't sat in a rally car, the likes of John Lyons that hasn't done a rally, Vincent Bonner, to see the hunger that was still there, the competition head coming on them, they still want to give a good account of themselves. Wee things like that. And then, just the easy manner with them. They are legends, but they're human. They're normal. I don't know that makes sense. Just they're just the lovely way they have with people. Like Ari, the consummate professional, like he was mobbed every time he came out the door to sign stuff, and it was no bother. He just took his time, went through everybody, and everybody else rushing around trying to get him into a car. Oh no, I have to get my photo taken and whatever, So, but I think we should wrap it up with this. I don't know if everybody has seen this, they probably have, but Andy Walsh at the very end of the very last stage, speaking to the legends. I'm not sure if Andy needed tied down or where he was, but he seemed to be as high as a kite. His enthusiasm is unequaled, and I can't think of any better way of wrapping up this episode than Andy Walsh's commentary from, speaking to these guys. And at the very end, to hear that S12B pull away from the stop line, it's special. So, if you'd like to care to listen for the extra few minutes here now at the end, but once again, can you please like, share, subscribe, give Luke some abuse? I don't know, any of them kind of things. Thank you very much for listening. Take care, speak soon, and bye.
Carl, what do I say to you? How was that experience like? The whole day there, unbelievable stuff.
Unbelievable, absolutely fantastic. Down to none other than Eamon McGee and Donna Kelly. I mean, to get it on and to get the right people there that weren't going to upset the apple cart like what has happened in other places, to drive the stages in maybe a competitive manner or in a fun manner, but to behave themselves and not leave any problems for the rest of the people. You know, the 9 people who were selected were superb, I must say, and I had a most enjoyable day. In actual fact, someone asked me, did I enjoy it? And I said, actually, it's better than sex.
Brilliant. It's a long time since 72, 73, 74, but it's only a long time in digits. Well done.
Well, it's 50 years,
Yeah.
and you're now interviewing an 81 come 82-year-old, you know, so...
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It's only a number.
It's only a number.
Well done.
Thanks
Well
a
done,
million.
Carl Harley there. That is fantastic. Unbelievable. Right, Harry Vatanen. Who would have thought, what I would have thought, that I'll be here in Donegal speaking to Harry Vatanen on a Sunday evening, who will soon be coming around this corner. Harry Vatanen, like, folks, life doesn't get much better than this, like, I have to say. Winner in what? I think it was 78, John? I think Harry won Donegal? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I'm delighted that they got a run over here. I see a man here, Adam Hall, Adam, 78 and Harry won him. I put you on the spot. Yeah. Actually going to ask him himself. Unbelievable. Look at this. Just take a moment to... Harry, I have no words for it. It was 78.
So do I. Nor do I.
Brilliant.
I'm so handsome, or why don't you have words?
That's class.
Well, because Kevin is so handsome, that's why.
Describe that experience to me.
No, it really is. It's just a resume.
Yeah.
A lot in my life, obviously. You know, when I'm here, 75 for the first time now, nearly 50 years later, still here, still with the same passion, and still with the same reception as if I was here for the first time. That's what life is all about. It's not about cornering. It's about cornering. It's about speed, but it's all about a passion and human contact and. Donegal, it's when I'm here, I understand why you are very proud of Donegal, and a little bit of Donegal is also in my heart.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Harry, listen, thank you very much for making this happen. Well done. Good man.
Thank you.
Unbelievable. Jump in here. Now here's the man. I have a funny story to tell this man.
Go ahead.
John, I met your wife earlier on. Your wife, Wendy.
Yeah.
She's wearing a t-shirt, the 40-year-old t-shirt with the Mark II on it. Unbelievable. What kind of experience have you got today?
I have had a fantastic experience today, stepping into this wee car not from 40 years ago. Absolutely tremendous. My son Robin, he's never sat in a rally car before, and we've had a ball.
On Father's Day.
And Father's Day as well. Yeah, best Father's Day ever. Yeah.
Life doesn't get much better than this.
You're right, it doesn't. It just doesn't get any better than this.
Thank you so
much. And in Donegal too.
Brilliant.
Great.
Well done.
Cheers.
Well done. That is just unbelievable. John Lyons, I think John is winner in 81 and 82. 40 years ago. Unbelievable. Vincent Bonner. Vincent, it's an absolute privilege. Tell me, how did you enjoy that?
That takes me back to 83. That is class in there. I mean class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The crowds, the roads.
Oh,
the roads may have improved a little bit. Crowds are still as enthusiastic.
Oh, the stage never changed. That is class now. One of my favourites.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well done for coming out and
not
giving
at all,
everyone.
Not at all. It's a privilege, and I hope everybody enjoyed watching it.
Oh, we did.
That's brilliant.
Well
okay,
done. Good man. Good stuff. Life doesn't get much better than this. The next man coming here, Billy Coleman. What does someone say to this man? This man, there's so much in Ireland named after. We got the Billy Coleman Award, which is the Meirion Rally Academy has been born out as the Billy Coleman Award. But man who's done so much. Gonna just come over this side now here. Billy, I'm going to jump in here for a second. Billy, it's like this. It's 1995. Dennis Tears after winning the snooker. Bruce Springsteen's #1, and you have to win a Donegal. How does it feel?
It's wonderful to be back here just for the couple of stages even, but the roads are as good as ever, and it's a huge thrill. And turned out a lovely fine day as well, which always helps.
Brilliant.
So,
it's nice to be back, nice to see the crowds, nice to see the stages.
Great, yeah, absolutely. And there's big crowds out, and no hassle anywhere. So anyway, probably my last one, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming out and for giving us this for this to enjoy. I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for making memories.
Thank you, and great to be here.
Okay. That's unbelievable. James Cullen. Legends meet. How are we doing?
See the big smile on behind this helmet here?
Unbelievable.
That was absolutely class, Andy. The Atlantic Drive at its best is classic.
Yeah.
Life
didn't get much better than that.
It doesn't matter now. For our boys like us, this is just superb.
Well done.
Superb.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Look at that, Nesbitt cheering around the corner, chasing after Austin McHale. Unbelievable. Austin, you could believe, close your eyes and think it's 97. Nesbitt was cheering behind, well, in a different car, but go on. How did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, it's great to get back again. It's, I suppose, really, in a way, it's 12, 14 years since I was in a rally car, really, as such, you know. So we're very happy for the run out this weekend, and we're very happy with that Mark Guile and KD Cars for giving us the car, and the cars ran perfect. We've had no problems, but we've driven it about 7% with respect to the year the car is, and that, you know. So and that's the idea of the whole thing here. So it's gone very well. So hopefully that Donna and all the other guys that's involved with them there, and obviously the Donegal Motor Club, will make a successful weekend for them.
So the deal, I just give you the appetite to get back behind the wheel again.
As I said down in Trinity, I might take the Focus back out sometime this year, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, brilliant, awesome. Listen,
Okay.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now look at this, look at that. The them two men side by side. I tell you, I'm getting weak in the knees here. Getting weak in the knees. Andrew, turn off the car a second because we have to talk. We have to talk. The most successful man in Donegal is 89 stage wins, 6 wins overall. Reeling in the years, how does it feel?
It feels absolutely 20 years younger, I can tell you. James and I were just saying it's been an amazing time since we were here in 2006, and here we are and competing again with all the greats of Irish rallying from around the world. It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
I can't express how I feel right now, and it's great to have James back in the seat with me here.
Yeah, lads, listen, I have no words. Thank you so much. Great to see the car, great to see you. Brilliant.
Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody in Donegal.
Brilliant. And the next man, that leads me on to the next man. That leads me on to all the drivers who said there. Everyone's so much thanks to you. Thanks for making it happen. An unbelievable feeling for you.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be able to do this with Donald, and you know, as a tribute to Manus, and obviously the 50th anniversary, and yeah, it's love and dreams.
There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, but to everyone involved, we won't name anyone because we'll leave someone out, but for everyone involved, on behalf of the whole rallying community, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, so boyhood dreams.
Fantastic. I have no more words, lads. Donald, you wanted to say?
No, I just want to thank Donna for organising it and for being good enough to take out this car and a tribute to Manus, and it was a pleasure to sit on with him, so thanks, Donna.
That's fantastic. Well done, well done. Well done. What a way to finish! What a way to finish! What a way to finish!